There's a feeling you get at the beginning of an adventure. You feel it in your veins, the channels. Your heart starts pounding, beating only for discovery. My name is Carter Hall, and this is my final journal. I have lived many lives, but I still remember the night like it was yesterday. A young boy had spied something in the sky, and we rode out together, my princess, my advisors, our guards, all to see what it was. We could feel it in the air, the start of something big. Something was coming. Something wondrous. A message from the gods, perhaps? A sign? It was no sign. It was a clue to the greatest mystery in the history of mankind. And it was written in metal. Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is my preview for Dark Knight's Metal. So we are around the corner to DC's next big event, with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo returning for their first big DC crossover story. This one looks really promising, all things considered. With two preview comics titled Dark Days, one called The Forge and the other called The Casting, we have a pretty solid idea of what's happening. The idea is that this story seems to be the culmination of many themes and ideas presented by Scott Snyder during his tenure as Batman, as the character investigates deeper and deeper into the mysterious Dionysium. That substance, which has now revived both the Joker and Batman, is revealed to have deep ties to the larger DC world. As such, we learn that Duke Thomas, the Court of the Owls, Dr. Fate's helmet, the Nth Metal from the Hawk People, and several Atlantean and ancient Greek artifacts all seem to be tied to this impossible element. And my guess is a substance from what is referred to in the comic as the Dark Multiverse. It's the kind of mystery Snyder is great at setting up, and the whole thing works in service of paying off and finally dealing with some of the questions from his run with Batman. I'm quite glad they are doing that, because all things considered, where we left things, it was a little disappointing or unclear. Dark Days implies there was more to all these events, and there will be answers within this story itself. It starts with Batman, but Dark Days makes it quite clear that events are spiraling out of his control, and the rest of the DC universe is about to be pulled into these events, especially Hal Jordan, who has a very interesting role, and the Green Lanterns might be tied into this too. I highly recommend you check out the Dark Days comics for yourself, since they are full of cool hints and important information when it comes to what's going to play out in Dark Knight itself. After reading these two comics, I'm pretty excited for Metal overall. I like the name too, now that I see how it ties into the story. Dark Knight's Metal. Metal defines this comic and the plot, while the Dark Knight refers to the situation, but also the enemies that are going to be pulled into this story. But it's the metal that ties everything together and hides the deeper secrets. Those secrets are coming to light in a big way, and seems to be what has opened the door for the Dark Multiverse. What this means is anyone's guess, but based on the ending of Dark Days, The Casting, and some preview material and just comments we've heard from Scott Snyder, it looks like we're getting a cast of either corrupted Batman, or by the looks of the Wonder Woman logo in the end of Dark Days, a sort of Justice League converted into Batman and terribly corrupted by some means or force. The whole thing looks really cool, though already I'm sure we've lost some people. At this point, you know Snyder and Capullo. You either like them or you don't. They've been doing this long enough that it's easy for you to form your own opinion about them and how they write Batman, but if you like these two, I think this event is going to be awesome. It's not going to be perfect. I don't think that for a second. Events rarely are, and Snyder's writing always has had certain flaws. Flaws that I reconcile with a good writer who I overall like, but still flaws. And already I can see the comic barreling down towards his most notable shortcoming. He does a lot of development, build-up, and exposition, and usually caps things off with some awesome and memorable moments, but he tends to end things a little too abruptly for my taste. It's probably what's going to happen here. That's already the tone I got from Dark Days. But that's okay, because you know what this reminds me of more than anything else so far? Blackest Night. We have this event that starts in one corner of the DC universe but gradually pulls in everyone else, yet will primarily feature that corner. So like how Green Lanterns got their moment in the spotlight with Blackest Night, this time it will be Batman and his family of characters. That's neat, and having characters like Duke Thomas, the Joker, and Talia al Ghul showing up at the beginning of this big company-wide event is a fun facet of this comic. And like Blackest Night, I don't expect this thing to be the biggest, deepest, best story ever written for DC, but I do expect it to be interesting and a lot of fun more than anything else. Dark but fun. Blackest Night walked that tone very effectively, and I have a solid feeling Metal will do the same. This is what Snyder's kind of good at, is striking this strong tone that you remember. Considering that and just all the cool ways that the Court of the Owls is involved, and we're getting into these mysteries that have been around since Snyder's time and even stuff from before then, I really like that. So let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments section below, and thanks for watching. This was yet another Patreon weekly poll winner as I catch up with a couple of these, but this event is really fun to talk about regardless. With a main series and a bunch of tie-ins to accompany them, there's a good amount of content to this thing, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it at some point or in some form or another. Though I will note, mercifully, this event isn't affecting every single title, so it doesn't feel terribly overblown, which is great. So stay tuned for that, and in the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics. He has stared into the abyss, and we have hidden what lies within. The final seal is broken. After all these generations, the sacrifice is at hand. Let us see them. Let us see what he should have seen, if we had not prepared him correctly. The dark days are over. The dark nights are coming. And with them, the true father of Batman.